I know, like, if I get up, if it's a real cold scoop of ice cream and it's hard to, get with a spoon or something, I just imagine like a smaller guy battling that.
From talking about bees ejaculating.
Think about the Chinese right now. Literally visualize them in your head. Now think about tickling them, dude. Think about tickling them. How cool is that? Because they're active, man. And they're going to be fired up.
To death.
Down. Right? I said, I'm down, right? And we kind of moved on from it, right? That doesn't concern you because apparently you were joking here.
Well, when you said I'm down, I'm like, is he showing up to podcast?
How does Theo Von keep hijacking entire podcasts with chaos that makes even the funniest people on earth lose control?
Really? I remember at one time it snowed in our town and people had never seen it, and people were yelling shit at the sky and just yelling like racial slurs at clouds and shit. Yeah, people were.
Who even thinks of yelling slurs at snow? Only somebody who's lived through it, and Theo did. That line had people crying from laughing and coughing at the same time.
This is Kid Rock's, honey. That's who's making this shit. That is for sure if it's got semen in it.
Bees ejaculating themselves to death in heat waves. Viral story explained.
Here we go.
Where's the bees?
He said bees are dying because they're nutting themselves to death. Sounds like a high school problem. Then Jamie pulls it up on the screen and yep, it's backed by science.
They have Apple stores in China that have nothing to do with Apple. Everything's counterfeit.
Oh, dude, one time I went to this Starbucks one time in Jamaica, right? We went in there and somebody had just stolen a Starbucks sign and put it up outside of this place.
When Theo talked about the fake Starbucks and the knife fight outside, he dropped the phrase urban cutlery, and I swear the whole room gasped.
If somebody, I know, like, if I get up, if it's a real cold scoop of ice cream and it's hard to, get with a spoon or something, I just imagine like a smaller guy battling that.
Theo spotted a black duck and casually named it Mal Luther King. Now everybody lost it. I mean, it's over when the guest leans back in their chair wheezing like they just finished a marathon. That's Theo for you. One duck, one civil rights movement, one punchline.
Love in the air already? Was there pretty strong love, or were you guys still kind of figuring it out, do you think? I'm just curious about love and like
in the
love
big,
and
in the big,
love.
dude. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Oh wow,
okay?
Somebody's getting mummed.
Yeah, I'm
here,
gonna be completely honest with you right now.
He once described a woman's legs as strong chopsticks that wouldn't open. He said maybe she was a mermaid. Everybody was howling, but also low-key concerned. That line was outrageous, and it took a solid 30 seconds for people to recover.
Yeah, that's like the Utah tits. Those tits are clean over there.
Clean. They're like the Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
Macaulay's gone. He was hot for a while, but now Kieran's taking over. We gotta go to Beijing.
God.
He said Jews invented self-cleaning ovens because they weren't falling for that trick again. I mean, man, come on. That is outrageous. The guy next to him almost choked. That line danced on the edge and did a backflip off of it.
We went into a Starbucks, right? Found out it was not a Starbucks. We go in, somebody had stole the sign and put it up outside of their business, right? So we go in, you're like, this isn't a fucking Starbucks. There's couches and shit, dude.
Theo casually walking into a fake Starbucks and realizing it's just couches and no cake pops. That's peak fun. That knife fight that followed, that's just seasoning. Everybody's laughing, but also double checking their GPS now.
What's up, you little orange-loving, happy and sad at the same time? Zach Bryan, cult-worshiping good people of America.
He rocked a tour jacket and said, "This is as black as I get." Deadpan. That line had everybody throwing their heads back. Nobody was safe, not even himself. That's why comedians love him. He'll roast you and himself in the same breath.
I feel like you're so full of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. You guys smelled good, man.
For real?
Yeah,
What do we
dude.
smell like when we walk in?
Honestly, I usually think it's like a lot of deodorant.
He joked about skin so tight he wanted to rip it off and send it back to Africa. Completely out of nowhere, everybody just sat there stunned and then burst out laughing. I mean, come on, that's Theo. The dude can build a joke out of nothing.
We used to do that too. We used to go through the neighborhood at night and we'd steal everybody's car radios, right? But then here was why I did it, dude. At first, we did it because we wanted a radio for our own car, but you only can put like one radio in your own car.
He said he used to steal car radios, then had 9 sitting in his back seat just to laugh at people who didn't have music. Now that's a villain origin story and some comedy gold. Everybody on set couldn't believe this was real.
The construction workers, the nurses, the hospitals, are they all Asian? Because you just made a voice.
No, they're fans of yours.
I know, I understand that, but are they all Asian fans or just are there whites too?
He connected a missing stray dog and an Asian woman attending his show, and I swear even the furniture started laughing. It was chaotic, politically incorrect AF, and exactly why people keep watching.
One time I passed out at an intersection, and then an officer showed up, knocked on my window, puts the flashlight on me. I wake up. He goes, did you see two wolves out here fighting?
He took some weird raccoon pills and ended up blind, touching a cop because he could only see with his hands. That visual? Comedy chaos and nobody could breathe.
Cuter. You know? Chinese like, Chinese be more aggressive and
Theo said, gay bash sounds like a Gatorade flavor, like Polar Plum. And the whole room was gone. He turns controversial into comedy like it's a superpower. You don't even know whether to laugh or cancel the guy, and that's kind of the whole point.
Somebody chiseled a set of tits into like a birch tree by us.
Oh,
Bangers, homie. Some milk muffins, Daddy. He chiseled a pair outside back of our apartment building.
Like an artist, like he
Yeah.
He told a story about somebody carving perfect boobs into a tree, called them milk muffins. Now at that point, the comedians weren't just laughing, they were rethinking their entire career. How does this man's brain even work?
You ever seen a baby deer? Sometimes if a baby deer gets born, they come out of their mom. First of all, a baby deer walks out backwards into the world. Do you know that? Some animals come out frontwards. Humans. You know?
He described a prank where he'd tuck his junk and nuts to look like a baby head and shout, "I'm having a baby!" Bro, that's not a punchline, that's psychological warfare. Everybody died laughing while almost deeply insulted.
This week on Two Bears, One Cave. Most dudes that look like that are not that funny.
And most dudes look like that are women.
How is it in Nashville, by the way?
You couldn't cheat on your wife there.
Yeah, okay, all right.
If we were lifeguards, dude, people would die.
That one's got to go.
Described a bear popping pills, crying, rubbing one out, transitioning, then getting on a laptop and said maybe we're the aliens. Comedians were facepalming and laughing at the same time.
Well, what do you bring with you on the road? Somebody said you bring a Cybertruck. Is that true?
Yes, that's my work truck.
I have a Cybertruck. That's why I was just curious what you thought about it.
The guy drives a Cybertruck and said it feels like driving an email. What the hell does that even mean? No idea, but it had the whole room wheezing. Dude, doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Feels funny.
Speaking of ladies, I sent a DM to El Chapo's wife, dude, when she just got out of jail.
Really?
Yeah.
I think your life would be in danger if you
El
start-
Chapa? Yeah, dude, but it would be exciting. Imagine waking up every day.
He said he DM'd El Chapo's wife thinking muerto meant Wednesday. Like, you could see the other comedian try to hold it all together, but it was hopeless.
Dude, and you have to listen to DMX when you get out of that plane, right?
Yeah,
There's
right.
no way. The plane's upside down, and now we have to exit. There's no way I don't put a fucking on him.
Even when talking about not having a life plan, he makes it funny. Just leave everything behind. Awards too. First black something, I don't know. His delivery is so careless that it circles back to genius.
if you wear a leather jacket at a Mexican restaurant, well, you can just stay away from me.
Wearing a hot leather jacket in the studio, he said, "This is as black as I get." One-liners like that don't just land, they explode. You can see people trying to process it and failing miserably through their laughter.
is it the heat?
Yep, they're evaporating, they ejaculate, and their whole body blows up.
Is that real?
Bring it up, Jamie.
Nobody can predict what this man will say next. One moment he's talking about bees, the next he's crafting an entire wildlife-human hybrid fantasy.
One basketball coach had been like kind of tickling the kids a lot, right? And then the other guy called him and he said, "Hey, if you keep..."
You said that so natural.
I'm just saying that.
You said that so naturally.
His brain, chaos engine, and comedians can't get enough. There's a reason so many comics crack up around him. Theo Von isn't just funny, he's absurdly funny.